Try not to kill myself challenge, impossible edition. So yeah, stuff went badly. With the election. Yay, fun. I love losing democracy. Yeah, really scary. Don't know what's gonna happen with the future. Let's distract from that with some epic microtonal ear training. Yay! 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 I'm having fun. Are we all having fun here? I sure do. Do enjoy this. Yay! Yay! I'm having fun. Let's do microtonal ear training. Uh, okay, now we can minimize camera. Or there we go, and then show display capture. Let's start out with some 22 Edo. Um, oh, I have bull and pierce brain rot. So something that's been happening recently with your training is I'll hear an interval and say, "Oh, that sounds bull and piercy," and then not being it be able to tell the difference between if it's like a major sixth or like a tritone. No, that's obviously a major sixth because you don't have the really buzzy tritone in 22. Because before I would just hear like a major six and I would be like, yeah, that's a major six. But now I have like bull and pierce brain rot. Ooh, that sounded neutral to me. Oh, I guess it was on the sharper end. It sounded like a slightly off second. So I guess it does make sense that, yeah, it didn't sound too off. I was like, that sounds neutralish. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick. What was that interval? Mm-hmm. Just sounded like tritone. I don't know. Wait, oh, I know. It's gonna be this, right? Yay. Uh, I think that's the minor third. It sounded kind of neutral-ish, but it's gonna be the minor third. It sounded like minor, but the minor is gonna be sharp, so it's gonna sound kind of neutral-ish. No way, colon three. Uh, that is going to be the sub fifth. Um, that is a perfect fourth. I'll just try to position the camera a bit better. Um, hmm, is that a semitone or a neutral second? Uh, no, yeah, I'm so eager to guess a neutral second. Oh, I guess that leads me to talk about something I was thinking about on a walk I took this morning. What was that? Da. No, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, really? That was a harmonic seventh? That's weird, man. Hmm. Let me grab my blankie. This stream requires a blankie. Epic blankie. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Okay, good. That works. That's another minor. Oh, that was sub minor? I guess I do Sterling because it's in the lower register. Didn't sound as concordant as sub minor thirds usually do. I was going to click the octave, I just, gosh dang mouse slip. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yay! Okay, that's nice. I finally got an initial second. And it was on the final guess. That's kind of nice and poetic. Uh, you know. Hmm. Wonder if I could find like a zero with space. Uh, guess I'll wait until there's at least one person here to talk about the thing that I was referring to earlier about the neutral seconds. Let me try some other stuff. I don't know. The stream is probably not going to be too long. Uh, because I'll probably have to go to sleep at some time soon, or I'll want to go to sleep. It was going to be hard to go to sleep like before it was decisive, but now that it's decisive, that we've lost our democracy, now I can probably rest with, I don't know, fear instead of anticipation. What should I do? It's been a bit since I've done 72. It's a whole array of intervals. How wonderful is that? Oh yeah, Wisconsin seems now unwinnable. So I was visualizing a potential path where if Wisconsin was one, then which would still be unlikely at the time that I was saying it or thinking of it, then potentially that could lead to a 269-269 tie. Because I'm assuming Pennsylvania is just like lost. 95% of the votes have been counted, and you'd need like 200,000 more. So yeah, now a 270 is pretty much secured for Trump. Yep. How fun is that? I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's terrifying. Alright, ear training. Sounded like 550 cents. Okay, I was one off. I mean, getting one off still feels really good here. Is this just normal 300? Okay. Oh, that was like a really sharp minor third. A flatter major six. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, I was misinterpreting. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. Colon 3. Here, I'll just reset. Not quite a sub-minor third. Maybe 283? Was it a sub-minor third? It might have been. Yay, it was exactly. Yeah, I did hear some buzz there. Okay, 1133, 1150. 11 to 10, 1060. Oh, okay. That's surprising. You know, it's not surprising how much you can save when you switch to Geico car insurance. This stream is not sponsored. I just wanted to say that. That's neutral, alright. Is it one of these two? Okay, yeah. Wow, I detected that as a minor interval earlier. Interesting. Is that like a flatter major third? Oh no, sharper Oh, that's like super major. Whoopsie daisies. Yeah, I'm not as good as I used to be with this. 1100? 1083, that was like a 15 over 8. Either 50 or 33. Yay. Uh, maybe that one's 50. That's 83. Okay, yeah. Wasn't expecting it to be that much bigger. I was expecting like a 50 or 67. It's like a octave with a bit of detuning. Either 1167 or 1183. I was one off. What was that interval anyways? Like a 417? 400, okay. Wow, that sounded more off than I thought it would. That sounded like more off from a 5 or a 4 than I thought. 1167 again. Yay. Okay, that's gotta be either 1083 or an 1100. I'm gonna guess 11. Ah! 1117. Um, tritone-ish interval? Is it like 633 or 567? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna guess 633. 650, okay. I was only one off. So I had the right idea. Oh, that sounds pental, that sounds pental. What? What? I'm losing my mind. Why was that buzzy? What? I'm going insane. Um, oh, is that like a sharp perfect fifth? It's either 7, I'm gonna guess 717. It could be 733. It was 750? Wow. I guess 8 Ito is viable then if I heard that as a detuned fifth rather than like some like sub minor sixth or something like that. This is 72. Right now I'm just trying to distract myself from everything. I kind of like ear training with 72 because you kind of think of integrals, not integrals. No, you don't have to do calculus when doing this, but sometimes it feels like it. Uh, but you kind of think of intervals more categorically, more as like a continuous stream of pitch, and you have to think, oh, this is like a sharper perfect fifth, this is like a flatter or neutral third, etc., etc. And pitch kind of becomes more of a continuous thing that you guess, uh, rather than like a discrete set of like pitches with each like a very distinct vibe. With like Toledo, you could probably like if you figured out the vibes of each interval, you could probably like guess it really quickly. Here you kind of have to hear, oh yeah, what's the actual like kind of size of the interval. Still, vibes of the interval do like play a huge part in like determining that. I mean, but yeah, uh, that's why I like doing 70. I've gotten really good at 31 though. Maybe I could show off my 31 skills. I don't know. I'm kind of like playing worse than I usually do. Uh, that's like a slightly off. Wait, no. Hang on. Uh, slightly off fourth. Wait. Yeah, yeah. So like oh, 450. Wow, that's more off than I was thinking. I'm gonna guess 417. Okay, 433. So it still gives you a lot of points. What? No way. Okay. Wow. I guess I was probably hearing that more Pentiment. I actually don't have an excuse for that one. That was just dumb. I really heard that as subminer. 3.33 cents. That's like a supra miner, not a subminer. Oh my goodness. Absolute goofball. Um, yay. Uh, what was my best thing on this? I think I did pretty well. I think I got 24th. Yeah, I got 24th place. Which is good because people really try hard this. Yeah, unnamed 2 for 8. Uh, oh, uh, I was gonna say, speaking of 248, Trump has 248 electoral votes currently, but now he's already up to 267. Okay. Yeah, they called Pennsylvania, so it's kind of like officially over now. Harris would have to win Wisconsin, which is pretty much impossible. Okay. Never mind. I guess I couldn't make the epic thing there. Unnamed 2 for 8. I would highly recommend you trying this out. It's very fun to do. Chordbook.com/eartrainer slash main.php. It's also linked on the Zen wiki. Also, there's an underscore between ear and training. Chord-book.com/ear_training slash main.php. I wonder, what does just typing in chordbook.com give you? Okay, that's not the thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you do have to go to the ear training one. This should also just be on the Zen Harmonic Wiki. Yeah, doing something. Oh, wait, they don't have 14 Edo. That's one that they should really add. Oh my goodness. Hang on, I was gonna suggest. Oh wait, I already suggested 14 Edo in the past. I might just suggest it again. 14 Edo. It's a fairly popular small Edo that several people. Oh, I should spell several right. Have. I misspelled it even more wrong. Okay. Have expressed interest ear training in. Oh, also the page when you do suggest tuning is very funny. This is such a funny screen. I love this screen. This screen brings me immense joy. It's such a spoogly screen. It's so perfect. It's like, yay. The colon parentheses. I've also asked for 9 Edo. I I was thinking of asking for 80 Edo as like another super continuous tuning for osmium's sake. Osmium is a microtonalist who really likes 80. And I think 80 does have some whatchamacallit, some nice things to it. I mean, it is a very big Edo. It's just it gives you access to a lot of higher limit stuff. to an extent that many like Itos of like a similar size, you don't get another one kind of like it for a while. Again, I don't really have an interest in like higher limit JI, but I think it can be a very powerful thing. And the way it does it is it tunes here. I'll just pull up the Zen Harmonic wiki page. Uh, da. 80 Ito. It tunes basically all of your prime harmonics a bit sharp. So whenever you take a ratio between the two, so let's say like 5/3, tunes this one 24 cents sharp, this one 20 cents sharp. So when you take 5/3, that's only going to be about 4 cents off. So tunings that tune like basically almost all of the like primes sharp, or like all of the main primes sharp, are called knife tunings because knives are sharp. Uh, but yeah, you can see it gets like pretty much everything that way, either really accurate. So the 13 and 17, it just gets very accurate instead of getting like sharp. But the rest are like fairly accurate and pretty sharp, except for the 7. The 7 is like very sharp. Uh, but like everything up until 31. So it's like a 29 limit system. The main thing is that it does this all the way up until prime 29, which is kind of crazy that it follows this pattern and is able to get everything up until there. So it's able to get a lot of the ratios between these primes. Since they're all sharp, whenever you take one over the other, they kind of cancel out the sharpness and you get something really accurate. Uh, though the problem with 80 Ito is that it's 80 EDO. It's a lot of notes. Personally, way more than I'm comfortable with. I kind of like, hang on, is there a way I can, oh, here, I can just pull this up here. I want to see if I can get paint. Open. Thank you. So I kind of like have certain size categories for Itos and like how I view them. So like 0 to 4 I call trivial. Just because these ones are like all very small. Uh, yeah, Romeo's. I was trying to make the title of this stream kind of insane. But it's insane because we live in an insane timeline. Okay, so 0 to 4 Ito I call trivial. Okay, bye, Romeo's. Oh, you must live like in Europe, so this isn't as scary of a thing for you, I'm guessing. The bliss of not being an American right now. I can't imagine it. Okay, 5 to 16. I call uh 5 to 16 I call small. And that's because most of these you just get like 2 flavors of thirds at most. Sometimes you get 0, sometimes you only get 1 with like 10 or 7. Sometimes you get none. That's just with 5, but you actually like have stuff that like is a kind of full and usable system. And yeah, you don't have like a huge variety of intervals with these tunings. but they're a very manageable size. And yes, 12 Edo is like, I mean, I'm calling that like a small tuning, and even something like 16, 15, and 14 are, I think, in my opinion, very small and manageable to work with. So the reason why I kind of draw the line here is because I think with 17 and 19, those are the first ones where you get like a new diatonic and you kind of get more flavors of thirds. Oh, it is really cool that with 14 you're able to get three flavors of thirds kind of before anything else gives you that, like much earlier on than you would expect to be able to get that. But 14 is like very efficient. I really love 14 as a system. I want to make more music with it. Okay. Anyways, now 17 to 20 to 26. Goodness, I took a lot of tries. I call medium. This is just like taking forever because I have bad handwriting and I'm undoing when I have bad handwriting. 17 to 26 I call medium. These are like Edos that I think should still be mostly a manageable size when working in a DAW. You're not going to have to worry too much about running out of space. With stuff on the upper end, you might have to be thinking about how you transpose your, or like what ranges your instruments have and like possibly like transposing it. But you're never going to run out of room in like one MIDI roll. Uh, and yeah, most of these, they give you like a lot of different flavors of intervals, etc. None of these are like hard and fast rules. These are just kind of like how I conceptualize the size of like different tunings. All right, now 27 to 41. Yes, I know it's a big range. I consider big. These are like tunings that are going to kind of start to become a bit harder to manage size-wise. Uh, and you're gonna have a lot of options. And these are some of the ones around the size where you can start getting overwhelmed by options. I know that's a problem that sometimes happens to me when I use tunings around these size, but I think all of these are still reasonably usable. So now 41 to, I forget where I drew this line. It might have been like 53 or 58. I'll just say 41 to 58. Forty-one to 58, I call uh, uncomfortable. Because this is where, like, the size of the Edo kind of starts to become a problem. Whether, oh, sorry, I don't mean 41, I mean 42. 41 is still in the big category. 42 to 58, uncomfortable. This is where, like, the size of the Edo, whether or not you're working in a DAW, or on some instrument that you're using to play an Ito. I don't even know how you would make like a physical instrument for something of this size. This is where like the size really becomes an issue that you have to think a lot about. Uh, Most of the time you'll have like less than 3 octaves of MIDI space to work with. And yeah, it's just gonna be kind of a bad time. But I still think that these are like usable. Now 58. And my comfort level is like here. Anywhere in this range. I still like to distinguish between this and then the next range that I'm gonna say. Because these are ones that I could potentially use in the future. That I would still be okay with doing. It would just be, like I say, like uncomfortable to work in something of this size. A little inconvenient. 58 to, or I guess it would be 59 to to 80. I call this is like a huge waste of time doing this. Is there a way I can zoom in? I'm taking like forever just to write these out here. Impractical. Impractical. This is where like I think it would be really hard to use anything of this size. But there is still used to using Itos of this size. And then, and if you were able to get a setup, like, you could still do this with, like, multiple tracks of MIDI for each, like, octave. Yeah. But with stuff, like, bigger than 64 Ito, you're gonna have less than 2 octaves of MIDI range, when doing stuff. So 81 plus is what I call unusable. This is where I don't think, like, anything of this size could really have a use unless you were able to get some specialized program. And even then, I feel like you're just looking for an excuse not to use just intonation. Past this point, you don't really need this many notes. I can't think of any case where I would just not choose to like make a specifically tailored like just intonation scale with the intervals I'm looking for, rather than like using an Ito of this size. Like I would always just like specialize, make a JI scale for the thing that I want to do. Because the only thing you would use this for is a specific case, and most that the specific cases can be like covered with a specifically tailored JI scale. So yeah, this is like the size categories that I think. I like using stuff in here. This stuff is too small for me. Though maybe one day I'll use 2 Ito because it's funny. It is silly goofy. And maybe someday I'll like branch out and do stuff in like either 46 or 53. But that would be a bit tricky. Alright, anyways, it's that tangent aside. Yeah, this is a great website. Uh, how did I not notice that they didn't have 14 on here? Well, I guess I did in the past because it was in my autofill for the recommendation. I've also requested 9 because I think that is like the macrotonal Edo. Oh, also I started hang on, I started something in let me open this up. I started something new in 9 because I'm doing the 190 Edo album and I'm trying to like work on a few new songs. I was able to get some really cool like textures and sounds. Yo, hi yo variable. It is going horribly, as you can imagine. I'm not doing well. I'm doing this live stream to distract myself. This is not going to stay. I'm probably gonna do something else with the drums here. But yeah, I was able to get some really cool effects with anyone want to guess what effect this is that's making this sound really cool? Hang on, I'm gonna hide Ableton, and then I'm gonna, so you can't see the effect. And then I'm gonna turn it off. This is without the effect. Wait, no, that's the wrong track. Whoops. This is without the effect. And then this is the... Oh, you instantly got it. It's a phaser. Yes. I... Amazing. Yeah, so it's like a phaser, but instead of like doing like a normal sine wave for the phasing, which would sound like this, they have options to like do like these syncopated triangle waves, and doing like the 16th note ones allows for like some very bubbly, interesting sounds. So yeah, no 2 for 8, you got it right. Yeah, 9 you can get. I love how versatile 9 is. The more I use it, because like what I set out to do is to make an album with 9 to like show how versatile it is, and then like through working on it, I guess, and just the songs I've started, which isn't much, I've been able to like just reinforce how versatile it is and how you can basically, yeah, use it like you would use any like full Edo. It is like the definitive macrotonal Edo, in my opinion. And it has so many good scales as well. Like, for something this small, it's like surprisingly also versatile with its like selection of scales. First off, what am I doing? I mean, I guess anyone even not knowing microtonal music theory could probably uh, figure this out, but it's going to have just an augmented scale, or like in 12 Ito, that would be going like 3, or it would be going, yeah, it would be going 3 1 3 1 3 1. So you have like the equivalent of that in 9 Ito, since you still have the same 3L3S. You still have the same like augmented chords because it's a multiple of 3. And this allows you to do some very nice sounding stuff. Next you have a 7-note scale. For me, I feel like this has the same problem that Jarek does with 12 Ito. Because Jarek is a really cool scale, but it's hard to justify using it in 12 Ito because it's a 10-note scale and it's basically just like the full chromatic scale minus 2 notes in 12. Anti-diatonic, I feel like, has a similar problem, even though it's a really nice scale. It does take up like all but 2 notes of 9 Ito. However, using it as like a framework to generate like harmony, or melody, like just kind of sticking with your diatonic, or I guess anti-diatonic chords, like not doing like this like E minor thing here, because that would not be something that would typically show up in the scale. Just doing a harmony that like is built by stacking thirds and then taking inversions of that, or it's, yeah, going every other step of the scale and then also inversions of that. But yeah, you can get some nice sounds out of anti-diatonic. Also, with your anti-diatonic becomes, you can also get your anti-diatonic pentatonic. And just like arpeggiating this can sound really pretty. And the step pattern for like your anti-diatonic pentatonic is actually the exact same as your normal pentatonic. It's just whenever you have it hard of basic, it generates anti-diatonic. Very pretty stuff. Speaking of pentatonic scales, you also get, you know how 9 Ito technically like supports semichordal. Well, you couldn't like put a full semichordal scale in it because that would literally, that's a 9-note scale, it would literally be every note. You can do the semichordal pentatonic. I think that's also called like manual or something. I don't know. Maybe it's pedal. I can't remember. It's one of the two. But yeah, this allows you to do get a lot of cool chords. Goodness, it does not sound great when you do those chords like that. Wait, why does this have... Oh, wait. Where do I need to put this? Oh, I need to put it up there. I don't want it to sound ugly when I'm trying to show off nice sounding stuff. You can actually generate a lot of chords just from this one pentatonic scale. That's like four large steps, one small step. I think you can build a major or a minor chord here. So like with a normal pentatonic scale, and like 12, your normal 12 Edo pentatonic scale, you can only build like one major triad and one minor triad. Here you can build two major triads and two minor triads, and two of them are like are like kind of at the same root. So in this scale, you can actually get a major to minor movement, which is really cool and interesting. So a lot of possibilities scale-wise, but also if you're just using a full chromatic Edo, not even like thinking about scales, you get a lot of possibilities, and it kind of like vastly overpowers any nearby stuff. Like it's like basically the first one to have distinct major and minor chords. I know you might be saying, "Hey, wait, okay, wait. I think it's fine if I do this." Hey, doesn't 8 Edo technically have distinct major and minor chords? And to that I say, watch this. Because before I used to say yes, but it has some problems. But now, actually, I say it doesn't. So what do I mean by distinct major and minor chords? So, for example, with... Do I even have 7 Edo as a set? As like... Okay, what I can do to get 7 Edo is just do every other step of 14. Just pretend this... This is... Well, this is going to be 7 Edo, so I'm just going to do it by doing every other step. With 7 Edo, you only have... I do not have an instrument. Wonderful. You only have neutral chords, so your minor and major chords are kind of like... Your major and minor third are kind of equated in a way. Like this is both a major third and a minor third, technically, in 7, so... Don't have distinct major and minor thirds here. With 5 Edo, you don't have really any thirds. You have like a 240-cent interval and then a 40-cent interval. One is like a second, the other is a fourth. Like when it comes to like size-wise. So then, and 6 Edo like kind of lacks a fifth, so you can't do any like normal major and minor chords because those require a fifth. 10 Edo has the same issue of just having a neutral third and nothing else. 11 Edo has the same problem, not having fifths, so you can't build major and minor chords. So that's basically all of the others. I've covered all of them besides 8 and 9. And at first, it seems like 8 does have distinct major and minor chords. But something, I guess I could have, like, intuitively realized this earlier, but for some reason I didn't. So, like, 8 Edo has, its perfect fifth is very sharp. But it does seem to have, like, a distinct major and minor chord. However, let's take a look at that major chord. Let me just, like, quickly try to voice this differently. I bet it would, like, sound nice if I, like... if I, like, put the third in the bass, and then... Well, now it's kind of wide, so I guess I'll drop down the fifth as well. Oh, whoops, it's accidentally a minor chord. Yep, so your major and minor chord can actually invert to each other in 8 Edo, and the reason why this happens is because your major third is actually the exact same interval as your perfect fourth. So let's just go like a perfect fifth down from here. So an octave up and then a perfect fifth down, and that's the same interval. So this major third is technically the same as your perfect fourth, and that kind of like cascades into. I'll leave the like rest of the logical way to get from here to here as an exercise for the viewer, but it's fairly easy to figure out why this happens, knowing that. Because then you can just go a perfect fourth down from here, and if you, I said I would leave it as an exercise for a viewer, but I'm not. I'm clearly not. So going this perfect fourth goes down an octave, and or this major third, which is the same as a perfect fourth, goes down an octave because it's the same as a perfect fourth. It becomes a perfect fifth below your previous root, and then your perfect fifth, when you drop it down an octave, it becomes a perfect fourth below your root. Perfect fourths are the same as major third, so it's a major third below your root, meaning you have your new root, perfect fifth above that, and then a major third below your fifth, which is a minor chord. So you do not have distinct major and minor chords in eighth. And I know this seems like kind of a technical actually, but a lot of times in the sound of eighth, you hear this ambiguity of like if you ever try to do this, it's kind of like ambiguous what this sounds like, I guess. It doesn't really have a major or a minor sound. This almost sounds like inverted minorish to me. The chords sound like they're almost into this weird like gray area of being kind of sounding like they're inverted chords, but not really. And it's hard to get like functional stuff out of that because you can imagine you already saw that major and minor chords are inversions of each other. A ton of other cursed cascading stuff happens when you equate major thirds and perfect fourths. Like technically your major second is now equated with your minor third. And I know you technically have a neutral second in eighth, which is like kind of closer to the approximation of like a normal major second, because then you just have a minor third. However, if we want to take like, let's just take like a minor ninth chord. Let's look at this ninth here. We're stacking two perfect fifths. If we bring this down an octave, oops, that's actually a minor third. So it's really tricky to get functional sounding stuff. You can still make eight sound nice. In fact, it's like a kind of a fun challenge to try to make such a unwieldy tuning system sound natural. But nine is the first one where you basically have everything distinct. Oh, hello. Oh, sorry, I must have not seen it. I think Discord like oh wait, let me look. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, now I see it. Sorry, I think Discord uh oh wait. Oh wait. Oh yeah, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, okay. No, there were a few people who reached out to me about asking for me to join their team, and I'm still deciding which one I want to kind of take up. Uh, so, uh, yeah. I was pretending to not have read those messages, assuming you were one of those people. Yeah. So there's me lying to avoid deciding. I mean, I've kind of like talked through this idea with this one guy, who actually wants to like incorporate microtonality into the core of the game and like have it interact with the music. And this is like kind of a dream idea. However, I'm struggling to decide whether or not he can actually like execute on it, and whether or not it's going to be realistic for the scope of a 9-day game jam. Uh, but it's really cool, and I really like the idea. And then there were a few other people who just like reached out to me about the game. You know, it's a huge like confidence boost whenever like I like post hey, I'm looking for a team in like one of the game jam servers, and then like people reach out. It kind of like reassures me that my music isn't all like weird and unlistenable. But yeah, now I remember who you are. Quench Disorder. Yeah, right now we're just kind of trying to not be too doomer about the election, and I'm explaining why nine tone equal temperament is the best equal temperament that's smaller than 12, or the best macrotonal uh, equal tuning. Uh, Hi, Ansel. Okay, maybe I should go back to the ear training for a bit. So that is what I saw. Oh wait, no, I should finish my explanation that I was in the middle of. 9 is the first system to not like destroy the harmony entirely. You get just looking at this, you don't like map it to one single neutral third like you do with 10 and 7. You have a perfect fifth, though it is like considerably flat. It's like 33 cents flat, though if you pick the right timbre, it can be fine. Here with the piano, it's a little intense. But with like, say for example, a saw wave with some unison on it, with some unison detune, boom, all of a sudden it sounds a lot more manageable. Yeah, if you have any like questions about microtonality, I'd be happy. This isn't like a planned, a super like on topic planned stream, so I'd just be happy to talk about like microtonal theory if you're curious about anything. Uh, all right. So okay, on the explanation for 9 Edo, you don't do the cursed 8 Edo thing. Let's just like try to do the same inversion thing and just prove it won't work. Uh, have our major chord here. Drop the fifth down an octave, drop the third down an or drop the third and fifth down an octave. Boom, it's a different chord than like a normal minor chord. So kind of, it's the smallest Edo to kind of support a like more functional and non-completely horrible harmony. Uh, like yeah. And that's why I'm making an album with using only that. Yeah, I've come to realize that having a perfect fifth that's 33 cents flat is a lot less bad than it sounds on paper. It is something you have to be very mindful of when like picking like what timbres you're going to use, and also you have to keep in mind when you stack fifths. So like if I was going to try to make a very big chord, stacking this very flat fifth over and over and over is going to make the chord sound weird after a bit. I guess here with this timbre, it doesn't sound as bad. But in my opinion, it starts to sound weird around 11th and 13th chords most of the time. Okay, tangent aside, what tuning should I ear train for? Oh, it's just this, it's this little button right here, this little blue headphone icon. Ooh, trying 41. I haven't done 41 too much. It might be helpful to like differentiate between like Pythagorean thirds and like versus like normal like pental major thirds and other stuff. I don't know. I do really like using 41. I think it's like the biggest uh tuning I'm comfortable using, at least for now. Maybe I'll warm up to like 46 or something, but okay, bye commenter. That's like a semitone. Is that like 117 or yeah, I'm gonna go 117. Alright, okay, it was uh that sounds I'm gonna guess uh uh height minor. Yay, I was right. That sounds slightly flat. I'm gonna guess tenor or nine. Okay. Oh, that was just a normal whole tone. Yeah, I seem to be doing like fairly well uh at 41. Yeah, quench disorder. Do you have anything you're curious about with microtonality? I mean, there aren't that many people like watching the stream, so I could just like kind of like break down some basics if you want. I will be tired and kind of mentally thrown off from the election, but I can do my best to like give like an explanation. What was this interval again? It's like super major, I'm guessing. Yay. Tritone of some sort. I'm gonna guess 6.44 cents. Yay. Uh, I mean, I've just been doing mostly ear training. Uh, I don't know. I feel like it's weird because I used to be really bad, and then like kind of like rapidly got better out of nowhere at like microtonal ear training. When like, yeah, I think it's probably just like doing it more and more often, and a lot of times using these systems. Yeah, I mean, this website is pretty nice and fun if you want to try it. Here you can find it on the wiki. You could go to zen.wiki, xen.wiki, and then you can search up like ear training, and it should come up. It's the one that's like chord book. I could just link it here. So yeah, okay, I have a great answer for this. Yeah, 31 is pretty complex. Some people try to start with 31 and then they get like very overwhelmed because it is a lot of notes. Uh, what I would recommend starting with is, uh, let me grab it right here, is 19. 19, I think, in my opinion, is one of the most intuitive and beginner-friendly systems. Some people also will like start with 24 as like a way into microtonality. However, I think this can uh, kind of be bad for a few reasons. First of all, a lot of the new 24 Ito intervals are going to be very weird and like kind of like especially dissonant uh, to someone who's not used to microtonality. like you get like neutral thirds, you get these like kind of like quarter, like very small like quarter tone things, a lot of like intervals where it's not really obvious how you would use them if you're just like coming into this new, and it a lot of times this fact forces people just to stay on using just subsets of 12, and you don't really get that microtonal composing experience. So what my recommendation is 19 EDO, or 19 tone equal temperament. EDO stands for equal division of the octave. You might hear tet more often, but EDO or EDO is just the same thing. I use EDO because it's a bit more specific, because just the phrase tone equal temperament, or like for example 19 tone equal temperament, technically doesn't, only says you have 19 equal notes. It doesn't specify it's over the span of the octave. So I say 19 EDO. So what's nice about 19? Well, it gives you still kind of like familiar major and minor chords. Uh, so, and then you also get some new chords like subminor chords, which are going to be flatter than minor, and then super major chords. So from a harmony perspective, you get two extra flavors of chords. Yeah, of chords and intervals, because you also get like super major sixths, sub minor sixths, super major sevenths, etc. Uh, so how does this work? And why would someone want to use something like 19 EDO? Well, this kind of comes down to if if like you were unsure on like, yeah, some of the Zen Wiki is kind of like inaccessible, like not the most accessible thing in the world. Like if I just go random page, then it will probably be some random. Okay, that's a scale. That's another scale. Okay, please. Uh, like what is this? There's a lot of kind of confusing stuff on the wiki, but if you, I think sticking to the Edo pages are kind of nice and the most intuitive stuff. But some people complain that the wiki is a little bit confusing or inaccessible. But yeah, what would be the point of using something like 19 over 12 Edo? And for that, evil Desmos graph. Okay, maybe I could show this in a way that's not Desmos. Hang on, wait, I can get Scale Workshop. The simple, well, I guess the more obvious answer for why I use something like 19 is the new possibilities for intervals and for harmony, and just having more notes to explore. But you can also get more consonants. What do I mean by that? I don't know how familiar are you with just intonation? I want to be able to like gauge what you already know. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 19 gives you then I won't have to like go through like a full explanation of just intonation, but 19 gives you uh, uh, major and minor thirds that are a bit closer than the to the just ratios of like 5/4 and 6/5 than your versus so these chords can have like a these thirds can have a slightly more buzzy or locked in or at rest sound, in my opinion. And let me compare. And can lead to like new extra like ways of consonants. Interesting things that you can do if you get like close enough to your minor third in 19 is like extremely close to just intonation. So like normally in 12 it would be like kind of a generally bad idea to put distortion on something that's like, or a lot of distortion on something that's like playing a minor third, because you're gonna have a lot of clash with the overtones. But when you're so close to just being in an like kind of an simple integer ratio, yeah, your major third is actually slightly flat of just intonation, but 12 eidos is like sharp, so it's kind of like off in the opposite direction. 19's major third is still a lot closer, and your minor third is very close to just intonation. So, but honestly, I think the main selling point is just the new possibilities for like chords and intervals, but the kind of added consonants with the thirds can be a benefit. So what was I going to show? Oh, right. If you put something like distortion on something playing a minor third, normally that would not be a great idea. Or it would create a lot of clash, and sometimes you might do that if that's something you want, but here... Okay, this is loud, hang on. And what if we compared this to a... If we tried this with like a standard minor third, there's a lot of that like beating sounds. Here you get less of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you're, what were you saying? Yeah, it is like the major third is kind of significantly flatter than just intonation, but or sorry, not than just intonation, than 12. Yeah, here this is a Desmos graph I made to kind of like visualize the differences between just interval, like just intonation intervals and various EDOs. So like you can see 12 EDO here. This is your major third interval here. I'll just hide these because they're not important. And you're a bit sharp here, about like 14 cents sharp. So like this is like 386 versus 400. And then your minor third is going to be a bit flat in 12. In 19, you can see your major third is closer, but now it's a bit flat. This is 386, this is 378, so that's like math. That's like 8 cents ish off. And then your minor third is crazy close. I can't remember, but the next Edo to get something better than this is like in the hundreds or something, to get like a better 6/5. So kind of an interesting thing. So the kind of like other side of this is your perfect fifth is now flatter. So 12, one of the kind of like things that 12 is amazing at is having a very accurate perfect fifth. You're only 2 cents off of just intonation. With 19, you're a bit flatter. In my experience, this is not really a problem because it's such a simple ratio. Our ear really likes rounding to it anyways. Just like how your 12 ettho-thirds don't sound horrible because our ear likes to kind of round to that simple ratio, and we're culturally used to them. Let me get rid of the distortion on this. This is not what I want right now. But your perfect fifth is ever so slightly flatter, but this can give it a bit more character in my opinion. Okay, anyways, nerd stuff aside, you can get a lot of cool, like, new interesting harmonic and melodic possibilities. Like you have the 2 whole new flavors of intervals. Super major thirds kind of have this nice, like, strained vibe to them, where they almost want to sound suspended. But like they sound kind of in between suspended and major. I think this is extra exaggerated in 19, where they're tuned even a bit sharper than they are in just intonation. Oh, also you can do a cool resolution where you have like, if you have like a super major 7th chord, you can resolve the 7th up and then the 3rd down. Very interesting stuff. That's just kind of like an example of like the taste of stuff you can do with this. Also, you might be wondering, well, that's cool and all, but like, how do I kind of like think about composing, like, where there are all these intervals? Well, 19, the thing that makes it very intuitive is the fact that you still have a diatonic scale. Instead of just going like 2 2 1 2 2 2 1, you now go 3 3 2 3 3 3 2. So you can do just normal diatonic stuff and kind of use this as a framework for composing and like understanding how to use 19. So like, yeah, and this functions with like all the same structures that you still have in a normal like diatonic like major scale. And then you can also have all your modes, like you can have Lydian, you can have Mixolydian, Dorian. They're all like modes of each other. They all still work the same way. The structure is the same, it's just now tuned differently. And other interesting things. You have 2 different tritones. Let's see why that is. So 19 is not going to be divisible by 2, meaning you're not going to have like some interval that you can stack twice to get an octave, meaning you have to have 2 different tritones. So you're going to have one that's like a slightly sharper tritone, and then one that's a slightly flatter tritone. If you want to think about this in the context of diatonic, your Lydian tritone or your sharp 4 or augmented 4th is this smaller tritone, so you could also call it a Lydian tritone or an augmented 4th. And then the thing that shows up if you just take your Locrian scale, you could also just find this if you wanted to make sure you were doing it right, you can just take a mode of your normal major scale, or just stack the steps. But here you get your sharper tritone, and this is your diminished fifth. So when it comes to like chromatic notes in I'm gonna guess that you might be talking about like accidentals, or like stuff that falls between like your normal ladder notes. The way to kind of think about that stuff is uh, your accidentals are no longer enharmonic with each other. So, like I was kind of like you just saw with your Lydian versus Locrian tritone, that is basically saying G flat, which C to G flat you'd get in Locrian, C to F sharp you'd get in Lydian, are two different notes. So the other way you can think about this is, let's say you wanted a perfect fifth above B. In like music, we would always call that an F sharp if we were gonna spell it right. If you called it a G flat, like even on like like if you called it a G flat in 12-Edo, you'd be spelling the notation wrong, but it would still sound the same. But here, as long as you're spelling the notation right, this is kind of how we see that this is where our F sharp is. So we can extend this to kind of bring our full like chromatic 19 Edo to kind of go C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, E flat, E. Then we have E sharp, which is now enharmonic with F flat, so we get kind of like a new enharmonic equivalence because we have a note between E and F. Then we have F, F sharp, G flat, G, A flat, G sharp. Wait, whoops. Sorry. G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, and then we have the note between B and C, and then there's a note in between here, because like in your diatonic scale, your like semitones are now two steps, so you can fit a note in between there. So this note is B sharp or C flat. It's both of those notes depending on the context. And then we have C. So that's how you can kind of think about it if you wanted to be able to notate the full thing. Or just think about it like kind of chromatically. Also, when it comes to thinking about chromatically, you can do new chromaticisms. So like this is going to be a very like boring example, but you can do like interesting stuff with this. You can have that little chromaticism between B and C, which is normally impossible. Also, like going between let's say we wanted to do this a different way, where we want to go between D and C. We now have two notes, so we can do like a little extra chromaticism there. So yeah, cool stuff there. Yeah, a lot of great possibilities with 19. Yeah, I think it's a very intuitive system, kind of like a next step to 12. If you wanted something that could also, if you wanted another option for a next step to 12, there is also 15. not 15. No, 15 would be, uh, 15 is very cool, though I would not recommend it as a tuning system to someone looking to like get into this stuff as a beginner in this stuff. 17, you get. I wouldn't recommend 17 as much. I think 19 is like a bit more intuitive, though. If you still wanted like the familiarity of a diatonic thing, here you can see instead of going like 2 2 2 or 2 2 1 2 2 2 1, you go 3 3 1 3 3 3 1. So your whole tones are like, and I should put air quotes because your whole tones are 3 steps, and your semitones are 1 step. And I put air quotes there because technically semitone wouldn't be actually right because you're not taking half of the whole tone. So yeah, you could say if you wanted to avoid that kind of confusingness, you could say your major seconds are 3 steps and your minor seconds are 2 steps. But yeah, so another simple extension to diatonic. If you want to think about the chromatic notes here, let's do the same thing where we build a perfect fifth above our B. We're still going to get the same thing because it's not divisible by 2, where we get 2 tritones. Here, our F sharp is actually above our G flat. You could see our augmented fourth, or the one we find in Lydian, is going to be, what would this be? 9 steps, where this one is our like diminished fifth is going to be 8 steps. And so that means that F sharp is above G flat, which might seem another reason why notating this is slightly less intuitive, because in my opinion, it seems kind of more natural to go C, C sharp, D flat, etc. But here it goes C, D flat, C sharp, D, E flat, D sharp, E, F, G, so and so on. So you won't always get like C, C sharp, D flat, D. Sometimes your C sharp might be above your D flat. Notation shenanigans. I know it's a bit weird. But here you get major chords, which I think don't have the same consonants that the 19 Ida ones do. They definitely sound interesting. It's kind of like a new type of sound. But your major thirds are a bit sharper than your 1s and 12, and your minor thirds are a bit flatter. This kind of pushes them more towards like that super major and sub minor territory. And then you also have yeah, that's kind of how I describe like the major thirds here, kind of sour, in a pleasant way. But then your kind of new type of interval that you get here, instead of getting like new like things above your major and minor third, you get one in between them. So you get neutral thirds. I think neutral intervals are like weirdly enough talked about a bit more. Like I've heard them mentioned by like non-microtonalists a lot more than I've heard like super major or sub minor chords mentioned. But neutral chords, in my opinion, are pretty dissonant. I've only ever used them as a dissonance, though. There are some contexts where they can sound nice. You also get stuff like neutral seconds. I kind of like neutral seconds because they're more of a melodic thing, and they can sound like pretty distinct from like a normal like major or minor second. But I would recommend 19. Maybe if you wanted to explore like the other side of this, you could do 17 after. But yeah, that's the type of stuff you get with 17. Yeah, so 19 is my main recommendation. Very intuitive in my opinion. And yeah, Ableton already has the live set if you just go into the tuning thing, so you don't even have to make the Ableton tuning file. I don't think they have 17 Edo. I could like DM you the tuning file I made for that. Wait, do they have 17 now? Did I drag this? No, no, no. This is mine. Yeah, it's just a tuning file I made. I don't know why I gaslit myself into thinking that this was a Ableton tuning file. Yeah, I know. Almost exactly a year now. Yeah. In fact, like 2 days ago, it was a 1 year anniversary of like me releasing my first microtonal song. Yeah, I've just been like completely into this for like the last year. I kind of really haven't done much with 12 or 12 uh, ever since I entered the world of microtonality. It's kind of like a black hole that sucks you in. But I'm kind of being forced to go back in a little bit to 12 just because I have to practice piano so I can like be good at that instrument so I can get into the college I want to get into. Uh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, when it comes to if you're curious about like what tunings are like kind of popular uh among like microtonalists, uh 19 is the one I recommend with for beginners, but 22 is also pretty popular. There are a few things that make 22 uh a little unintuitive. Uh 31 is obviously very popular. It has the same thing where now like uh, you have like most of these like ones that are popular you can like construct a diatonic scale to uh, get like familiar structures. Sometimes with 22 it will not sound exactly how you would expect. I could go into the specifics of that if you're curious, but like 22 and 27 are like ones that like you still get those diatonic scales, though they are kind of very different from the ones that are normal. So like 14, 15, 17, 19. Actually, maybe not 14. Maybe 14 isn't as used as I think it is. 5 is talked about a lot. 7 is talked about a lot. 15, 19, 22, uh, 24, 26, 27, 31, and then uh, 34, and then 41. I So I've done stuff like where I have two different tunings in the same piece, like sequentially. Like let me pull this up. And here. Oh, Gordon, where are you streaming at the same time? Oh no, that means the yield variable is going to be on his stream instead. Okay, let me find examples. The most recent example, I think, is advertisement. Hurry up, please. Okay, there we go. This silly little piece. Where this is in first 8 Ito at the start, and then 17 Ito like halfway in. So, so yeah, the first part is an 8, which I wanted to sound like very weird and Zen harmonic. So I used piano, which normally, if you want something to sound more natural in 8, piano is going to kind of be can sometimes not be the most receptive to microtonality, because we're very used to just hearing the piano in 12. It is one of like the least like flexible. Like with guitars, you can like bend the notes with like violins, you can like have free expression. You can't really change the pitch of a note on a piano. So we're very used to just hearing 12 on a piano. So when microtonal stuff is on piano, you kind of have to be careful with it, because it can very easily sound weird. But here I leaned into that. And then here I changed to 17. So here it's in 8 still. And then right here it changes. And I think that change is pretty satisfying, because now you can get stuff that's like more, a bit more consonant. Please rate my services on a scale from 1 to 2. Please rate my services on a scale from 1 to 2. Please rate my services. Let me know if I helped you. Funny, silly little song. 2 plus 2 does in fact equal 2. And then other times I like a very old piece. This is back with Ableton Live 11, when I was doing microtonality with that. But this piece switches between 24 Ito and 24 ED3. Oh, what is ED3, you may ask? Basically, an octave is a 2-to-1 ratio in pitch. So ED3 just means you're dividing with a 3-to-1 ratio instead. And that's like a perfect 12th, normally. So, yeah. I think I was more interested in like non-octave stuff back then, but now I've come to realize there are like only like 5, I like counted 5 good non-octave tuning systems, and the rest are just like meh. And those 5 are still like weird, and you want to use them for specific uses. But here, I kind of, the way that you could do stuff before is that you could have 2 tunings set to the Ableton plugin that you had to use to do microtonality before they implemented like the in-DAW support, like the built-in like very nice support. And you could fade between those 2 tunings that you had in that plugin, kind of dynamically changing between the notes, and that's what I do to transition between the tunings here. I think it's gonna start happening here right now. So right now this is just changing the. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I want to eventually, like as a career path, I want to hopefully be able to make music for games because I think this type of stuff can like work for great for games. Just for getting like interesting sounds, colors, flavors, textures, stuff like that with microtonality. And yeah, I really want to. It seems like it would be really fun to make music for games, and it might be the most viable path for or like me to make music and not starve, which I think is good. Yeah. But with the new, so with the new way of doing microtonality in Ableton, like at the one where you drag in the tuning file, I don't think you can change between two tunings here. The way I did it in that one other like 2 + 2 = 2 piece is that I exported all the audio after I was done making the stuff that's in 8 and then I imported, and then I just like drag that into a new like duplicate of the project with and then change the tuning file to 17 instead. So I just had the audio that was in 8 and then for the first half, and then I added in the stuff that was in 17. What I want to do, I might do this stream soon because I've been wanting to do a live stream. Or no, I was wanting to do a video of that, but it might honestly work better as a stream of doing like a speed run of explaining every Edo from 1 to 41. Because I think that would be fun just to see. Because I am, I think, experienced with. I do know at least a bit about all of the Edos. The main place where I think I would struggle is kind of like in the 30s range because there are some like weird ones that I'm not familiar with, like 30, 32, 33. I mean, I kind of know about them though. Yeah, it would be fun to do. Yeah, 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 definitely. Because like I guess with a uh, especially like if it's a setting where it would like really be tailored to it, like some sort of like alien landscape or some sort of I don't know, like futuristic high tech thing. I don't know. I think it could be a very interesting thing, though. Sometimes the theory of it can get a little too deep, and it just pulls you in, and then you forget to keep learning about like other aspects of music. Just going all in on that microtonal theory. Uh, I've described it as a black hole kind of because it's really interesting. What I will say is if you do get into microtonality, you will never see numbers the same way again. You see any number that's like, I don't know, below 30 or something, and ooh, that's a reference to this tuning system actually. Like I can't see the number 22 without thinking, oh, no way! Is that a microtonality reference? No way. Yeah. Oh, and it leads to you saying insane stuff. Like I remember one time I realized that like I just had to do like math in my head to count something, and I was like, wait, 15 plus 14 equals 29. Wait, that's so cool. Wait, no way. Oh, I guess that makes sense. And that just seems like a totally insane thing to say for like anyone who's not a a Zen harmonicist or like a Zen musician, because it's obvious that 14 plus 15 is 29, but what that means for like tuning, I think is yeah, cool. Oh, one of the coolest things. Okay, I know I haven't like covered a lot of like microtonal theory. Let me just give you a preview of like one of the coolest things. So say you have like any EDO that you like. Let's say seven and five. Let's say, hey, I wish I had something like between seven and five, or like, uh, how would you do that? Well, you could say maybe we should just like multiply seven and five by each other so we can have every interval from both of those etos, and then maybe we multiply that by two. So maybe that would be like, I don't know, 70 eto or something. For that goal, that's kind of insane that we would end up with something that large. What you instead could do is just add them. Just add them, bro. It's just simple as that. Uh, so 5 Edo has a sharp fifth. Has a slightly sharp fifth. It's like 20 cents, 18 cents sharp of JI. 7 has a flat fifth. It's uh, like 17 cents flat. So if we add them together, 7 plus 5 is going to be 12. Oh, would you look at that? 12 Edo has a pretty good fifth. Well, let's look at some other intervals. Oh, let's look at the whole tone. Well, this has a very like sharp thing for a whole tone. This one has a very flat whole tone. Oh, would you look at that? Add them together. Oh, 12. 12 has a very like kind of in between these two. Oh, let's look at this. Let's try to find it like some thirds, like a major third. Well, 5 Edo doesn't really have a major third, but it has this perfect fourth. 7 Edo has this neutral third. Oh, would you look at that nearly right between them? Add them together. You get this major third right between them. So it's just a really cool thing. If you add two things together, you'll get something with like intervals that are like between like all of the steps. Just as a preview of like some of the cool, interesting stuff. And if you want to know the math behind it, it's basically adding fractions wrong. So let's say we wanted to do like 3 over 2 plus, I don't know, plus like 4 over 5 or something like that. Normally that would like add to this, or sorry, that's times, plus. But let's say we added fractions wrong. So let's just add the numerators together. Oh wait, no, I picked the worst possible example. My bad. Let me just do this. Oh, would you look at that? 3 over 2 plus 4 over 3 equals 7 over 5. So this operation of adding fractions wrong is called the, yeah, let me just show you what each of these like numerically looks like. This operation of adding fractions wrong is called taking a median of two fractions. And basically it gives you the simplest fraction that's in between the two, assuming both of these are going to be in the simplest form. So assuming that you aren't like writing this as like 8 over 6 or something. And if you think about, so you could also do like 1 over 2 plus like 2/3, and then you would get like 3/5, 1/2, 2/3, boom, in between that you have 3/5. Now, how does this relate to the thing that we're doing earlier? Well, the way to get the cent value, or I'm assuming you know what cents are because you haven't objected when I've like mentioned something being off by a certain amount of cents. So if we want to get the cent value of like any step of like a certain equal tuning, we can just take like 1200 divided by the number of divisions, so like, and then times how many steps. So like for 12, let's say we wanted to get like a cent value of one step of 12, that would just be 1200 divided by 12 would be uh, 100. Uh, and then just one step would be that. But if we wanted to get the perfect fifth, then we could just, yeah, we would get 700. And basically, what we have here is a fraction. So if we take two different uh, intervals in two different Itos, you can imagine as this as being okay. Here, I'm almost done with this explanation. It's basically just gonna turn out to be, if we wanted to uh, uh, look at this, it's 1200 times some fraction, 1200 times some fraction. If we take the median of these two fractions, which gives us an average, what we're essentially doing is we'd be adding the equal divisions of the octave together while doing that, depending on what steps. So this would just be taking the median of like, for the 5 Ito perfect fifth, this would be like 3/5 of an octave, or 3/5 of 1200 cents. And then with 7, it would be like 4/7. And then if you take the median of that, you'll end up with 5/12. So, and then if you just add two Itos together, you're taking the median of like every single Ito, or every single step in that. So that's how that stuff works. Okay, see ya. I'm probably gonna end stream soon, anyways. But yeah. I promise that this stuff can be less mathy than this, uh, but yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. All right, back to your training. I think I'll do one more, and then I'll end stream. All right. Okay. Actually, it's really late. It's like 1 a.m. I might not even do. Here, I'll just do an epic speed run. Yay, epic speedrun. Alright, yeah, it is officially late. Yeah, the future of this country is over. Kind of forgot that that happened. Yay, that means the stream worked. Now back to suffering. Alright, see ya.